Hello everybody, Septa here, and today I'm going to be platinuming Doom the Dark Ages, and we're getting straight into it. So, this game obviously takes place in like the futuristic Dark Ages, so we start out at a castle that is being raided by demons, and these guys, the big fat dude in the chair who has these robots, I don't exactly remember how, because I got this platinum in August, but they can control the Doomslayer, which we'll see right here. That thing, basically, that yellow thing in his chest, allow them to control him. So they're basically using him as a weapon to protect them, I guess. Now here, this shield that you're seeing is a very important part of the game, as it's one of... I haven't played the other Doom games, so make sure to comment if you want me to play them, but from what I've read online, on the guides for this platinum, the shield is the main new thing of Doom the Dark Ages, and you can obviously block, and later you can actually get attacks, which while playing made combat extremely easier. After completing the first mission of the game, we get a Dark Beginning trophy for completing the chapter Village of Kalim. I don't know how to say that. I'd just like to quickly mention that I won't be going over too much of the story because not much of it is very interesting. Here we get our second trophy upgraded for getting our first weapon upgrade. But back to what I was saying, it's not very interesting. It's just killing a bunch of enemies. Like here, for example, we get another trophy for getting our first Demon Essence upgrade, which basically is like the ways to upgrade your stats, like in Ghost of Tsushima doing the activities. Here's another really fun mission, which I'll talk about a little bit. Basically, there's I think 2 or 3 of these missions in the game where you just get to play as a huge mech and beat the shit out of these giant demons. Honestly, these were my favorite missions while going for the platinum. Because, I mean, just look at this. This just looks fun, even while editing this late at night, you know? I found these missions very enjoyable. And actually, I believe one of the later boss fights, like one of the final boss fights you get to do in these. Now, here is the Heart of Argent, which we're going to put in this guy's... in his mouth and send him down this cannon. And for completing this mission, we get the supersized Brawl Trophy. One thing that gives us a lot of trophies in Doom the Dark Ages, as well as upgrades to our health, armor, and ammo, are these champions. Now, for most of them, you get a cool little cutscene, and you actually get a trophy, like this boss, the Vagary, I believe you say it. You actually do get a trophy for killing one the first time you encounter them. In my opinion, they're more difficult the first time, and I'm sure that's intentional. But this one wasn't too difficult. You kind of just spam with your shield and such, just like I did here. And we get the Vagary Down trophy for killing the first Vagary champion. Another cool mission style and game mechanic was the dragon flights, which honestly I found a little difficult at first. As you can see, I'm struggling in this gameplay here. I did get better at them, but in my opinion, these dragon missions weren't very fun. That's why I'm kind of skipping over these missions, is because most of them are either fighting on the ground, mech combat, or dragon combat. And here we get the Bringing the House Down for completing the Holy City of Eritrum mission. While the shield is already overpowered on its own, as well as the other weapons in the game, you can upgrade all of them. But here we get a trophy for buying all the base shield upgrades. There's a lot of different upgrades you need to get for a later trophy, but here we get the Shield Adept trophy. After doing some more story missions, we encounter our second major champion, or I guess our second major boss, which is the Agaddon. I think that's how you say it, Agaddon champion. This guy, by far, no matter how many times I killed them, I mean, in the later missions, there's like 5 per mission, but these were never easy. I always struggled with killing this guy, and especially the first time. As you can see, I'm already about to die. I believe I did die a couple times on this first little fight, because basically you have to parry him until a shield breaks, and then you can finally hit him. And after killing him, I got the Agaddon Champion Down trophy for killing the Agaddon Hunter. Now, back at that castle that I mentioned at the start of the game, the king's daughter got this special like blue power thing, and after I dipped my shield in some of the water, we got Ancestral Blessing by acquiring our first shield rune. Just like the other runes, they're basically just extra abilities for our shield. We enter Hell for some of the later missions. This is our first time entering Hell. There's a lot more of those champions that I mentioned earlier, as well as just demons in general, as Hell is their homeworld. And these later missions were just a lot more difficult, but as I said, most of them are just combat and some pretty easy puzzles. That's why I don't talk about them much. The giant blob chair dude actually turns on us and hands us over to the prince after we break free from his control. Now here was actually a very lucky thing I got. I got the Berserker trophy for acquiring all upgrades in the game, which I actually mentioned in live time. So I kind of give a good explanation, so I'll just...
What's up, boys? I know I don't usually do live commentary, but I'm 30 seconds into like a play session here, and I booted up the game and got the Berserker trophy for acquiring all shield-based shield rune and melee weapon upgrades, which it's a glitch, but it's a blessing, because literally that's the grindiest trophy in the game, and I just got it. So I mean, that's done. Like, but I don't really like know what to think of it. So I guess there's a trophy.
I am going to kind of speed run through some trophies here because the audio is delayed for this part, but here we get fully loaded for completing a mastery challenge for a single weapon. To kind of explain, I had audio issues around this time, and I don't want to talk a bunch while the audio is all delayed. Here we get powerful investment for acquiring all upgrades for a single shield rune. Here we encounter another champion, the Komodo champion. Well, this guy isn't very difficult to fight, honestly. I think he looks the coolest out of all of them. Let's go back about my audio complaints earlier. Unfortunately, I played an 8-hour sitting out of this like 15-hour platinum, so most of the audio is delayed, so I apologize for that. But after spamming once again, we kill the Komodo champion and get the Komodo champion down trophy for killing our first Komodo champion. Now here we get the BFG of the game and the Gimme That trophy for getting the Ballistic Force crossbow, I believe it's called. I apologize, I don't exactly know what BFC stands for, but that is how powerful the weapon is. Just one shot and we completely blew apart everything surrounding the spire. This mission that it actually takes place in was extremely annoying, and I had to replay it to get some of the collectibles. So my tips for platinum grinding: definitely get all the collectibles for this mission on the first try. And here we free the old one from the prison that he was in, and he helps us a bit, and we get the trophy Jailbreak. While still steadily progressing through the story, the next trophy we get is for getting all the melee upgrades, which is called Melee Expert. My tips: just look on the map for all the different like ingredients and gold that you can grab to get all these upgrades. I just wanted to include this part because this is another mission I enjoyed a lot. Basically, the Doomslayer is like killed or taken by the undead, so he's like genuinely just a zombie. So we escape from the dead, and we are resurrected by these like cultists, and it's an odd thing, it really is. But we get the Too Angry to Die trophy for completing the Harbor of Souls trophy or mission. And here we actually get another trophy from maxing out our health called Essential Health. Now remember that big chair guy at the start of the game who controlled us, and I told you we broke out and he double crossed us? Well, honestly, the Doomslayer crashed out on him and we beat the crap out of him, and it turned out like under his coat he had like slug things, and honestly I thought this part was kind of gross, like when all the slugs were moving around. But essentially, even after he offers to help, since it's the Doomslayer, he just kills her anyway. This is another time where I very much apologize for the audio being delayed, but I mean, I know you don't get the full story through my my videos, but after listening to him and dealing with him the entire game, seeing him die was such a satisfying end to him, and we get the Argent return by completing the Resurrection chapter. Now here we start one of the final missions called the Final Battle, which I really think is cool because we fight the old one, the guy that we let out, and it's a mech fight. Like I mentioned at the start of the Platinum, this fight was really fun in my opinion. I mean, you just beat the crap out of him while he attacks you with like a sword thing, and it was a lot of fun for me, even though I struggled at the start. This one definitely took a couple attempts, but as I said, pretty fun boss. But as everything with Doomslayer goes, after fighting him for a while, we do kill him, and this time we actually rip his head off and still kick him, just to prove that we can really kill him. Here's our first fight with Prince Azrak. I don't really know how to say it. We fight him like 4 times before the end of the game. It's really annoying. His first stage isn't too bad. It gets worse. But here, you really just gotta parry him and use this chain. Honestly, the chain is good for pretty much all bosses. But after his first phase, he stabs us. And kind of his second phase, he's just like, doesn't have his cloak on. He's like full naked. But, yep, he kicks us. But then, the dragon that I absolutely, well, I don't absolutely hate, but you know, I find the dragon's missions annoying, okay? But he comes in and saves us. This part was badass. Now, I will be the bearer of bad news, and I'm not going to show it, but the dragon does die. That's unfortunate, but he does help us. He does save our lives. And once again, back to Enhanced Azrak. I kind of just spammed him with the big crossbow here. Not very difficult, and there's not much strategy to this boss, I'm not gonna lie. Well, actually, there's quite a bit of strategy, but you kind of just, the grand scheme of things is you run around, dodge, block, parry, and shoot him. I guess that's most of the tips I can give. Now, right once we get him weak, the daughter of the king decides to get her powers, which, like, kind of gives him strength. And then she like really gets her powers. Now her powers are kind of like overpowered, but when she gets them, it kind of ruins the moment for Doomslayer, because as you can see, they get pushed away, and in the moment of commotion, just the quick moment that they slide, the prince actually escapes back to hell, which is extremely unfortunate for Doomslayer. And with that, we get the trophy, the only thing they fear, which is to defeat the old one in Enhanced Azrak. Now to start off the final mission, you can kind of see the one lady use her powers. Not very strong, but of course Doomslayer goes off on his own, because why would anything with him ever be easy? Now I start this mission off pretty quickly by getting a codex page, which is the last one I need for Lore Nerd. Basically the collectibles you just pick up during the missions. That's why I didn't really mention anything about it. And here is the last collectible toy for the toy collector trophy. Once again, you just walk into them and pick them up. While continuing through the mission, I take down a champion and get the final ammo upgrade, which grants us another silver trophy, which is essential ammo for acquiring all demonic essence ammo upgrades. Now the prince and the witch attempt to flee on the ship, but of course, you know, Doomslayer catches up to him. So this is the final boss fight of the game, where we fight Azrak and the Witch. Now this boss fight's decently difficult because we do have to fight both of them. See, I hope you guys get my point now where I say we fight the prince like 4 times. Because this fight was by far... I think this is probably the hardest fight in the game. But I kind of bitch out the witch a little bit. That rhyme. Maybe I should become a rapper instead of a platinum trophy grinder. But anyhow, back to business. I just keep hitting the witch, parrying. As you can see, the strategy is really just to keep moving around the arena. That's kind of all the mechanics really in the game. Weapons I definitely recommend is, as always, the chain. Now the prince tries to manipulate the Doomslayer to not fight him, but of course we fight him. That was the final and 4th time, but I'm just gonna skip it because it was like his other fights. Now we actually get him weak, and you know the Doomslayer stands over him and just no mercy, just bashes his head in. This part was so satisfying after him being a little rat the entire game. Now the Knights Guards, you know, they're still defending the other side of the last mission's arena, which I guess they were just taking out the demons. You can see, I guess she'd be the princess, the king's daughter with her blue magic powers. And just as all hope seems to be lost for them, as a giant horde of demons are coming in and some of them are injured, the Doomslayer comes with the head of Prince Azra, I believe. And just by seeing their prince, you know, their ruler, just his head gone, it's enough to, funnily enough, make the demons run away. I was laughing at this part. Now, the game is officially over and we get an amazing title card, which honestly, the Doom music's amazing, but especially right here, it really makes me fired up. And we get the game complete trophy for completing the campaign on any difficulty. I honestly really enjoyed this game. Now time for the rest of the trophy cleanup. None of this was too hard. Here I get the last armor upgrade while grinding for the other trophies I have to get. And with getting essential armor, I get essentially unstoppable for getting all of the demonic essence upgrades. Basically, you just have to kill all the champions to get that trophy. Now here, I actually get one of the harder trophies, which is to complete all of the challenges in all the missions for the challenge completed trophy. Honestly, if you are platinuming this game, just get them done the first time. Make sure you do, look up videos, do whatever you need to do because it is so annoying. And here I actually get the platinum, so I will let my past self speak.
Right here. Yes! Gunpletionist! Yes! Trophy Master, the platinum trophy for Doom the Dark Ages. This game has been so fun to play through, and I would like to thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.